33-story hotel and condo project.
I'd probably be
Okay,
like
like
that.
stop, tap.
This is a plan by the community for the community.
This one here, show me.
No problem, Ken. Thanks for having me.
It's Kent Mulgat for Kelowna-Now. And we're joined by Luke Turri from the Mission Group. Thanks for coming in.
You bet.
Some
Pleasure.
really exciting times in the city of Kelowna with all these projects. The latest one for you guys is Brooklyn at the Bernard Block. Tell us about this development and why it sounds like you're pretty optimistic that it's going to sell well.
Yeah, so Brooklyn at Bernard Block, it's the first phase of a master plan, three-phased build-out for what we're calling the Bernard Block, which, as many people will know it as, the former bargain shop site. And that site stretches all the way on Bernard from Bertram to St. Paul. And the Brooklyn site, which is that first phase, is actually in behind that building. So it's on a current parking lot fronting St. Paul. So
Right.
one of those first three phases. So it's a 25-story mixed-use high-rise with retail at the street level and floors of parking above that, and then we have our residential condominiums. And at the top, we've got a rooftop amenity that's going to be enjoyed by all of the residents of the building. So we're very excited about it, and we've been attracting a lot of demand so far.
What a relief too. That's been a bit of an eyesore being vacant for so long. So you take a bit of a down spot and turn it into something new.
Yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in Kelowna, and so being able to participate in the development of that site. I mean, I can remember it when it was Woolworths, and of course when it was the bargain shop, and walking by that all the time, living downtown, and so it's an exciting spot to be. It's a great responsibility too, but I think in the end, what we're most excited about is how that, I think, will just create and extend that dynamic energy of the downtown to that side of Bernard.
Right. It is amazing. We were going through the number of high-rises that are planned or going up already around the Kelowna downtown, and it is pretty phenomenal. It gets up around a dozen. Mm-hmm. Is there any chance here that we're overbuilding for the demand? So far, it doesn't seem like it. One West seems to be selling out really fast. Is there enough demand for all of these projects?
I mean, we certainly think so. We're very bullish on Kelowna. Obviously, I mean, we're owned and operated out of Kelowna, and we're extremely bullish on the downtown. This will be the next project that we're doing. We're currently under construction with our Ella Tower on Ellis and Lawrence. So this is our next step in investing in the downtown, and we think that, I mean, certainly there's been significant demand both at our Ella building as well as our initial marketing efforts for Brooklyn, but Kelowna is really coming into its own, and we feel like that there is a real maturity to our market and our city that maybe there wasn't 10 years ago, even when the last sort of real estate cycle came and went. Right. We sense a strong pull from both east and west. I mean, so we're seeing interest from the Lower Mainland, from the island. We're seeing interest from Alberta, and then close to home. I mean, we're getting that sense now. If you're out in these urban environments and in the downtown, you're attracting downsizers from a single-family home in a suburban area in Kelowna to the downtown, and I really don't think that was the case, or that was an expected thing even 10 years ago. Right. And so that's where I think that new demand shifting to what seems like a lot of concrete high-rise towers in Kelowna from what we've typically had is a product of some of that new demand and that new appreciation for that sort of urban amenity.
Right. You talk about vibrancy when you're marketing this project, mm-hmm. and the other ones, the sort of competitors out there, they're just adding to that vibrancy. So it's almost like one helps the other.
Sure. I mean, we know that a critical mass of people living, working, playing in the downtown is just going to be a positive feedback cycle. So, I think we can all agree that downtown has grown and matured immensely over the past number of years. But adding more and more people, just think of what that will do.
Yeah. So you take it back 10 years and you look at what the downtown looked like on the waterfront. We had the senior center and the old yacht club that was only available to certain people, and the downtown was a little dreary. I mean, it gets pretty cloudy in the winter, and the whole downtown feel on a weekend was not vibrant, right? So
Yeah.
we spent, what, the city spent $14 million roughly, added a bit of lighting downtown. That little bit of difference just seemed to change everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was excellent leadership at the time. Certainly the investment in Bernard Avenue revitalization, the partnership on the Yacht Club, Stewart Park, that was done at a good time. It wasn't a time where there was going to be a lot of private investment in the downtown at that point, or in much of Kelowna for that matter. And showed strong leadership. It was a progressive plan, particularly for Bernard, to create these broad sidewalks to limit the throughput of traffic and
Right.
reduce some of the parking. But at the same time, it's created a vibrant atmosphere down there. And of course, I mean, it's not all public investment, and certainly the private investment of shops, retailers, that sort of entrepreneurial spirit that has followed that has created that sort of dynamic energy downtown. And it's really, for Mission Group and for others, we're able to take advantage of that public investment, that private investment that followed, and create that, or take advantage of that demand that we're now seeing.
Right. Now, one thing that sets your latest building, Brooklyn, apart is that you've got the zoning and the desire to allow people who purchase there to do short-term rentals, even for a weekend.
Right.
We normally don't see that available to condo owners. But that'll fit in nicely with, I suppose, your target buyer, who is looking for something nice, but kind of watching the bottom line.
Sure. I mean, that is a fairly new thing, and it would set us apart at Brooklyn to allow for the short-term rentals. So what that does for people that are interested in buying, whether they're an owner-occupier, and they see that as flexibility. So they might see that as flexibility in the short term and the long term for the availability to rent their home, but also in this shared economy that we're living in. I mean, there's a lot of interest in living in your home, but when you're traveling or when you're away for the weekend or that sort of thing, being able to take advantage of that and help the bottom line, as you said. And then certainly for others that are looking to make an investment in Kelowna's downtown, the short-term rental is an attractive option for them in terms of maximizing the value of their property.
So, as we mentioned, there's a couple of other phases to the Bernard block that are still kind of on the horizon. Do you have, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but does this kind of buoyancy to the development of the downtown seem to extend enough into the future that we're going to see those?
Yeah, we're certainly optimistic that is the case. I mean, we own those properties and we'll be developing them, and of course the timing of those phases is always market dependent. But we see a really vibrant future for downtown, obviously, but in this Bernard district, in the next phases of that Bernard block, certainly there's some fantastic opportunity for some really vibrant retail there,
Right.
given the Bernard frontage. And we certainly see 2 more buildings similar to Brooklyn that have a lot of residential, again, to add people
Right.
into the downtown.
At One Water, after they sell the first phase, it's selling so fast that they started ramping up their schedule. Do you see that as a possibility for you guys, or you just stick to your own timeline?
Well, it would, again, be market dependent, and we are working through the conceptual stages of what those next phases of Bernard block look like. So hopefully, if we can expedite that timeline, we will.
Fantastic. Look forward to seeing that come to fruition. Luke Turri, Mission Group, thanks a lot for coming in.
Thanks, Ken.
And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.